So thank you so much. Welcome to these new voices, new Latino voices, national voices that we podcast for Latinas in Business. My name is Susana Bauman. I'm the founder, president, CEO of Latinas in Business. And today we have a very special guest from New Jersey, our hometown, home state, better yet, and it's Elisa Neira. And Elisa works with the New Jersey Department of Human Services, and she has a lot of responsibilities for what I was reading in her bio, which you can find in the article that goes with this video. And she is responsible for the Division of Family Development, the Commission for the Blind and Visually Impaired, the Division of also the Deaf and Hearing Impaired, for Disability Services, and for the Office of New Americans. And that's why we are here today to talk about. So Elisa, thank you so much for your time and for your patience with the recording, which we had a little bit shaky beginning. But anyway, tell me more about you and your fantastic career.
Yeah, of course. And thank you so much, Susana, for having me. We are really excited about the opportunity to talk about our department and the great work that we do here at the New Jersey Department of Human Services. I'm Elisa Neira. As you mentioned, I am the Deputy Commissioner for the department. In my role, I get to support some of our divisions under our purview, the ones that you mentioned. And, you know, it is an honor to serve New Jerseyans in this capacity. As a New Jerseyan myself, being able to serve the New Jersey communities that rely on our benefits and assistance and supports in order for them and their families to thrive. It's really an honor to serve my home state. And, you know, the Department of Human Services, we are the largest department in state government. We reach a little over 2 million New Jerseyans a year. We serve them in all areas, from, you know, assistance in healthcare through our Medicaid program, food assistance through NJ SNAP, childcare assistance for families and parents with low incomes, a whole host of services for individuals with disabilities. And most recently, I had the opportunity to work with our department and our sister agencies and the governor's office to establish the Office of New Americans here in the Department of Human Services. So we're really excited about this new office, really looking to address the ways that we deliver services to make sure that they are inclusive to serve our very, very diverse population in New Jersey, and really proud of the work that office is doing.
Right. Actually, New Jersey is one of the most diverse states in the United States, believe it or not, even if we don't know it. And also, it's one of the, I think, fifth in the gateway states receiving immigrants every year. After the big ones like California and Florida, you know, so that was always a information that shocked me, because I, you know, we're such a small state compared to the rest. Anyway, so of those 2 million, how many people those 2 million that the Human Services offer services to, how many people do you think are new immigrants? Not just Latinos in general. Do you have an idea, a percentage?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't have that breakdown with me right now, but what I can tell you is that in New Jersey, about a quarter of our population, of our 10 million residents, 10 million New Jerseyans. A quarter of them are foreign born, are immigrants. And so, you know, if you look at sort of participation in our various programs, which varies, right, across the different programs, you know, a certain percentage of those are likely immigrants, foreign born. And we do reach this community through the services that we provide. I don't know the exact breakdown, but I would imagine that it sort of correlates, to the, you know,
because that's significant. I mean, it's very significant.
Yeah.
So what are the main goals of the Office of New Americans, and tell me what some of the results that you have seen since the inception of the office?
Yeah, you know, we are not the first state to establish an Office of New Americans. There are many other states that have had these offices in place. And it has been really, you know, as we were thinking about what an Office of New Americans would look like in New Jersey, it was really helpful to look at how other states have approached this work, what were some of the goals in those states, and sort of figure out what would be helpful here in New Jersey. And so the governor tasked us to establish an Office of New Americans with the purpose of really identifying state solutions as to how immigrants can participate and benefit from the many resources in our state, right? How can we look at what barriers exist for people who maybe who can benefit from some of the state resources but are not aware of them, or for whatever reason may not understand eligibility, for example. We know one of the goals of this Office of New Americans is really working with, and the governor also established an interagency task force, which is made up of different state departments, to start those conversations around where are the places where we're not reaching the community, immigrant communities, and what can we do to better our outreach, right? To improve the way that we communicate to immigrant communities. I think one of the, you know, you mentioned, right, we're one of the top 3 states where we have a very diverse population. That means that we're diverse culturally and also linguistically. The language access needs in our state are really great. We have people that, you know, from various countries that speak many different languages, and understanding where those pockets of individuals are. We have some of the work that we have done has been to work with partners like New American Economy. They are amazing at looking at state level data and really showing what does that immigrant demographic look like in your state? Where do people come from? What languages do people speak? And we have done a lot of work at identifying what language access needs are in our state. By region, we know that immigrant communities vary across the state depending on where you are, whether you're in the northern part of our state, whether you are in the southern part of our state. And so the work starts with that, is understanding who are the communities we're trying to reach, what are their language needs, where do they get their information. You and I know both, you know, immigrant communities, depending where they're from, they may get information from their local church, or they may get information from a local news channel or a local newspaper. So understanding how people access information.
Word of mouth from other members of the community. Yes,
exactly.
Yes.
And understanding who are those community leaders, who are the people that are, you know, talking to other community members. And so we've done a lot of work in understanding sort of the demographics and where are the gaps in getting information to people. And one of our goals is really to look at language access and figure out how we can develop plans to really improve the communication that we have with residents of our state who are non-English speakers.
Right. So I don't know if you know that I built a company for I had a small business for over 20 years, and we focused on that. And that was our main focus. I'm talking started in the 90s when we had an explosion of Latino immigrants in the United States. Probably you were very young at that age. But then, and I developed a number of training products that I was able to promote in 9 states around the country, because there was a big need for language and culture barriers to overcome cultural barriers. But however, I find now that I look back, that fear of the unknown, fear of getting, you know, too close to government or police, or was one of the biggest obstacles that we encountered with our clients because we work with American clients trying to reach these communities. How do you overcome that?
Yeah, you know, that is such a great point, and certainly something that historically has been impacted our communities, or immigrant communities, as far as you know, thinking that receiving a public benefit may impact their ability to adjust their status, misinformation around how it may impact, you know, anything may impact their immigration status, and that was sort of even more highlighted, and the fear became greater under the previous federal administration, where there was a lot of efforts in really figuring out ways to close the door to immigrants in terms of applying for public benefits and assistance. And there was a lot of fear. You know, we think about public charge and the proposed rule that the federal government had put together, and it was misinformation at the community level. People who were eligible for things like Medicaid and SNAP, you know, disenrolling from services because they thought that would impact, you know, later on. And so we've done a lot of work to combat that misinformation through the Office of New Americans, doing public education, making sure we are communicating to the frontline providers working with this community so that they understand, you know, especially in this new administration, once we were clear that public charge was no longer going to be something that immigrant communities needed to be fearful of, making sure that that message was spread wide. I think this administration, the Murphy administration, has done a lot of work, particularly through our Attorney General's office, in policies to really build, you know, that trust between law enforcement and immigrant communities. We know that has been an issue in many communities across our state, where people have not reported crimes because they were fearful of, if they were undocumented, going to their local police department and reporting a crime. And part of that was that, you know, there had been not very clear guidance to local police departments as far as how they were engaging with federal immigration, customs enforcement, ICE. And I think this administration has made it very, very clear that local police departments are not to be deputized to act as federal immigration agents, but they are here to serve their communities, to make sure that their communities are safe. And I think we have more work to do, but I think it's been a long way since the previous administration, not having those clear guidelines for police departments. And we know that has impacted a lot of immigrants in our state being more trusting of government, being more confident about accessing government services. This administration also, the governor signed the bill to make a driver's license possible for undocumented immigrants, right?
Which was a long-standing
efforts. Yes, many community advocates.
This administration, and he finally was able to pass it along, and which was a wonderful victory, I think, of his administration. Okay, so which brings us to the topic of this interview, or the last topic of this interview, which is the Excluded New Jersey Fund. A fantastic also initiative. I think a lot of people who were excluded from all sorts of help, support, financial aid, subsidies, you name it, were at the forefront of the pandemic. We're the ones that were working in the fields, in restaurants, in farms, in manufacturing plants. And this legislation tends to cover all of them. Why don't you talk to me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, no, we're really excited about the Excluded New Jerseyans Fund. It is, the Murphy administration, were able to allocate some of the coronavirus relief dollars that the state received for to help our residents who have been impacted by COVID. So we were able to create this fund specifically for those individuals in our communities who, like you said, were at the front lines, worked during and have been working during this pandemic that we're not yet out of. But for several reasons, we're not eligible for the federal stimulus checks that many Americans were able to have, right, during a time where maybe their income was reduced or they lost income or became ill because of COVID. And so many New Jerseyans who, particularly undocumented individuals, were not eligible for these federal stimulus checks. They were also not eligible for pandemic unemployment assistance. So this fund is specifically to help those households, those families, those parents who were impacted by COVID, but did not receive these other federal aid that was available to other people. And for those who are, lower income, right? So for households making less than $55,000 a year, who can demonstrate they were impacted by COVID, who are New Jersey residents and over 18, are able to apply for this fund to get an assistance. It's a one-time assistance between $1,000 to $2,000. The applications are open. The information is available on our website, excludednjfund.nj.gov. And we're really encouraging people who meet this criteria to put in an application so we can get them the help that they need.
Okay, so yes, we will mention all the sources and the application, the link to the application, and I assume it's in several different languages.
Yes, our application is available in English and Spanish, but our website is available in multiple languages. So people can use a translation function on our website to read the information in multiple languages. Yeah.
Exactly. So, okay, so excellent. And how many people do you think are you expecting approximately to be able to receive some help from this fund?
Yeah, we think that as many as 20,000 to 40,000 households could benefit from the fund. We are working really hard right now to get the information out to make sure people are aware that the help is available and that the application is available. But based on the dollars allocated here, we believe that we can reach as many as 40,000 households.
Correct. So is that allocation, the 1,000 to 2,000, what does it depend on? The number of family members, children?
That's you are eligible for the program based on your household. So you apply as a household. So a household could get between, like I said, $1,000 to $2,000, depending on how many eligible people are in that household. And so that's the household amount. So it could benefit more people if that household is of 4 or 5 people, but it can't exceed more than $2,000 per household.
Per household. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Elisa. Thank you so much for your time, and congratulations on this very, very insightful initiative, because I think people were expecting some justice, some justice to the people who were really sacrificing their health and their lives for everybody else. We were all very guarded in our homes, and while they were, in the like you said, in the trenches, let's put it that way. So I appreciate that. This will go again with the article that we're going to post on Latinas in Business, and please let us know in any opportunity that we can help to promote any of the programs that you oversee. Okay.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Okay.
Have a good one.
Great afternoon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.